Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this week of my podcast show, Nichelle Anderson, Short Stories and Beyond. My name is Nichelle Anderson. I'm your host. I really do appreciate you tuning in for another week. And if you're new, thank you. So this particular month, I'm doing a special, which I'm calling in the month of December. Is the shorts of a short story. So it was really short, but it gives you definitely some more information about the characters I'm bringing into this timeline of my podcast show, and it moves you further into finding out the other elements, how to put some of these pieces together, especially from the book perspective, which is my book Mitsrayim. So this is a premium podcast. I like to do this opening, so for new people that are tuning in, I like to do it in the beginning, get it out the way, and keep it moving. So this particular podcast show is a premium podcast. To be a patron member to get the full access when I do the clippets of the short story. This month I'm releasing the full short because it's very short. Okay, so going forward, starting the beginning of the year, so forth, I will return back to my clip snippets. And to get the full short story of that, you become a patron member. You want to know information about that, in the description you will see a link. You can click that, it'll take you there. And this is based mainly on my production MOLIAE, which is based on my book called Mitsrayim. It is a memoir, and the acronyms of MOLIAE is basically Moments of Love in Ancient Egypt. I produced it from the book in the sense to a stage play, webisode, a short film. And right now the production of MOLIAE is in the prep phase for the prestige return of MOLIAE stage play. And as soon as I get those dates, I will let you know and go forward from that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the highlight for this particular episode. So this would be December the 17th. So this would be my director clip notes for episode 34 and 36. Normally this month will be for my special that I'm doing, releasing short clips, but for this episode we're focusing on my director clip notes and not the short of a short story. That will return back next week because I want to try to get these director clips out in a routine way, up to date, and faster turnaround. Alright, so let me just start with, and this is for episode 34 to 36. So, episode 34, Mighty One revealed among many, and then episode 35, an Alliegance bestows with Echo. Then episode 36, you have Orion skies, there is always others. So, let's go and focus on 34. Let's begin. For this week of my podcast show, Nichelle Anderson Short Stories, we're focusing on my director clip notes, and we're going to look at episode 34, Mighty One revealed among many. Okay, so that was published on October the 1st, 2018 for my season 2 return. And this right here basically focus on where King Mahlon, remember that time where after Echo was kind of kicked to the curb, and then fast forward, King Mahlon and Queen Hagar was at the Shama's palace. The Shama's palace is definitely mentioned in my book in Mitsrayim, and even in that book I describe the history of this particular palace. It's kind of outskirts of Mitsrayim, and they kind of rested up, kind of got connected before they returned back to Mitsrayim. So in this particular episode, a couple of days later, they're officially returned back from kicking Echo to the curb, reinstating the claim that King Mahlon is back on the scene. So you have elder councils there surrounding different territories, different dignitaries, and he's with his family, King Mahlon, Queen Hagar, Princess Amina, and then you have the Queen Hagar mother and father, her sister is there, and he's there and he's ready to state, as everybody was silent, silence engulfed the grand Sotu room as I wrote about this particular short, as King Mahlon spoke and Queen Hagar was by his side with Princess Hannah. And he said, in this anew of Apsu, Vayea, I am stronger than the move to remove what is my birthright. Now I do just want to touch on that. Sometimes when I'm pronouncing these words, if you hear it again, it might be slightly different. A southern accent there. I'm trying to change it up a bit, so sometimes it might come out just a tad bit different or what have you. But at any rate, he said this, and everybody was ecstatic because these are mainly people that support him. Now, he did say also, as he said that first line, he came back and continued and said, I have taken the position of a major enemy of Mitsrayim and stood tall over thee. That's very important because in a nutshell, he basically said he took the top one out, but he pretty much giving them a feeling that he know that it would be others. Now, everyone erupted. They was excited about it. This was his, because there's going to be two official type of ceremonies or movement or presentation to solidify. I just felt that it wasn't as, oh, okay, I'm better and he's back on the throne, no problem. For some reason, I felt that it's a procedure process to it. And even though that he did initially do this first, he wanted to go and make it known and take Echo out, especially as the information was getting back to him that that's the person that was the leader, because that's what Natu, remember Natu was in the very first scene of this whole podcast last year. So for that moment on, you can see King Mahlon basically, restating his claim in front of his whole kingdom. And there was, regular people, citizens at the, around the palace. They could hear, at least the communicating come to them that he's making his speech and back on the world scene. He's back on the throne. So at any rate, King Mahlon, that was his moment to state that. Now, you do see in this particular episode that one of his close during that time pulled him to the side just to kind of give him, his name is Teshnar. Teshnar came up a few times in season 1, and Teshnar basically wanted to talk to him. And what he said to King Mahlon is there has been much movement since the confrontation from one of the high rank Orions, Echo. So it seemed like Teshnar definitely knew that they was going to take out Echo. They did, and then already they see some movement. So King Mahlon responded, speak a few for now. And Teshnar basically told him there was a new rank that quickly emerged from the shadows to full stand as Echo was in the beginning. They call him Natu. This solidifies something and gives you a clue, because I did describe King Mahlon's eyes looked ablaze with familiarity of this Orion. So there's a past there. Now, how deep or whatever, I'm not sure, but he definitely recognized that. And I did mention by the word shared by Queen Hagar, it's definitely a history there. I'm not sure what, but Queen Hagar definitely communicated of Natu to King Mahlon. And basically in that line, you can connect that it seems that there's word that Natu is taking over. So there's still a threat. Where and when, we don't know. But King Mahlon nodded while speaking, and he said, this Natu has walked the fields near and in Mitsrayim before. I shall move against thee in the right Apsu forward. So it's definitely going to be a future confrontation. When and where, I don't know, because remember in the previous episode, Lanko is on Natu trail. Okay, so that was episode 34. Mighty One revealed among many of different ranks of people and his own people, Mitsray. King Mahlon officially returned back as the king ruler of Mitsrayim, because Queen Hagar stepped in while he was healing. Okay, so let's go to episode 35. Episode 35, this right here is entitled In Alliegance Bestows upon Lanko. That was published, that was broadcasted there, my podcast on October the 15th. So, and this one is very, I like this one as well. This one set it up, as I said, in ancient times of the north and west of those from what would be known as the city of Atlantis, we see movement from the forest of deep-rooted trees. It is Lanko that appeared, covered up mostly from the brutal of the outer elements. So he basically made it back to Tamat. And remember, the first episode, returning back, my season 2, it was focused on the Orions. And we learned this new high-rank military person, the secret order of the Orions, called Heni, and he gave Lanko a message that was coded to go to the northern mountains, which, I'm not sure it's to the left or farther to the west side of Mitsrayim, and to deliver this message. And here's Lanko, he's doing that. And then we learned from this one, this is the takeaway, okay, that he is another tribal leader, but the tribal leader revealed something. Usually that's towards the end, and I wait to share this. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. And Atuo was to give that message too, and Atuo shared that his brother is Sanel, Sanel. That's how you spell it. That's how I'm spelling it. And that's in the earlier episodes where it was the beginning of season 1. So that was in episode 6. Sanel, he made his first entrance. I just put it out there that he's known to be an adversary to King Mahlon of Mitsrayim. That was episode 6. And of course, I don't have the name of that, but that's pretty much where Atuo said that's my brother. So you see how they getting connected, who's connected to who? Well, that's family. And Atuo was like, I'm kind of want to stay out of it, but it seemed like he was a little bit into the betrayal of going against Mitsrayim. This was a major battle, major war. And Lanko leaned forward when Atuo wanted to kind of step out of it. After Atuo said, it was my brother Sanel that led 4 of the armies against Mitsrayim, not I. And he was about to say something. Lanko leaned in like, look, we both know the rule of Mitsrayim and its influence, as well as the ability to close in on all those close to those that ones he seek. And they talk about King Mahlon, which will lead back to you. Now I take that in the military way, that even though you're saying you're not really in it, maybe some resources, maybe some type of ties that in a way that the person actually was, and definitely of your brothers, and then we don't really know the history or what have you, but it has to be something that Lanko feel that King Mahlon will still connect you to what happened. So you either with us so we can stand together, or you're going to be standing by yourself, and we all know King Mahlon ain't nothing to mess with. Okay, based on the history, his connection to Mitsrayim and the people from Pleiades, right? So this one too, like, okay, you're right. I will make an allegiance. I will agree to your ruler request for us to come together and join forces. And Lanko felt like he accomplished his goal. And I think he really need that, because he's planning on getting an army together, getting support. I mean, he tracked that too. I think that's one element to still, with every pursuit of their style of Mitsrayim, to still focus on that, get a hold of Mitsrayim. But the other part is Lanko orders was to bring Natu back. That's what Henry said, the return of the episode in season 2, to bring Natu. Natu was in trouble. He is a mess. He just won't stop. So, there's 2 things that Lanko have to do. He just did one and got the allegiance. So that's what that episode was about. Definitely check that out if you haven't. Then there was a reveal, and I can't really go too much into that because you have to be a Patreon member. But that was slightly a reveal that was a reveal also added to this episode, and it was focused on King Mahlon and Queen Hagar. There's a scene, and so I can't really reveal that, as I said earlier. But this particular episode just set it up a continuation of what was left from the last main episode, focusing on Lanko, because Lanko started that episode and here he is completing it, because the first episode it cut off, and this one here we see that he made it back to Tamat. Tamat is another name for Earth, planet Earth, and he's in this particular area north in the mountains, and he delivered the message and he secured the deal for Atuo to be a part of this, or what's going forward. Okay, so that was a great episode. Let's move on to episode 36, because the next week I did my director clip notes. So in this particular episode 36 is called Of the Orion Skies, There Always Others. This is a very good episode as I'm moving along here. And in this particular episode, I'm just going to try to do that, we focus on the high-ranked secret council member of a king, which is Hani, and that's the one I just mentioned in the previous episode, where Lanko was ordered by Hani to return back to Tamat and to deliver this message and work with them to be able to secure the goal of the Star of Mitsrayim and to bring Natu back. Now, in this particular episode is very key. This is another level of secrecy, another level of authority, of rank, of people in the military, what have you, government, whatever you want to call it. And when Hani is standing in front of them reporting the status, because Echo, that move what Nutter do must be one real deep, and Echo must had a lot of connections because it went real to a highest level and it's serious. But Hanu says something that is very particular. Basically, when he's standing in front of this level of council members that's above him, one of them to the left, I said, the third to the left of them spoke up first after Hani nodded in respect for them. So Hani entered the domain of them, and by this time Lanko is, in the Sudan, heading to where the last whereabouts in the north of the mountains to deliver that message. And Hani said, one of the council members to Hani, "What is this that Echo would not return back to us?" And that's where Hani nodded, assured. It seems his whereabouts were not discovered as of yet, but he is not to return. Something to that nature, basically what that line was. And so they were shocked or what have you, went back and forth. But Hani continued, and he said, "Echo was betrayed by one of us." And then scatter of chatter went amongst the council members. That's deep. That means that Natu connected here, okay? This is my only time I'm able to break down when I'm writing, because like I said, I sit down and it just come to me, and bam, I just keep going and it just comes out. So if you take that line, that means that the deception goes deeper than the two, and it's got to be somebody that's helping the two, or at least gave the seed that he should go ahead and do what he did, meaning to keep that prisoner that he has that can tie to Mitsrayim and put in a compromising position against Mitsrayim, and somebody else believed or what have you and supported Natu, and that was to betray and to betray Echo, and it tell the rest of the high council members, because that's what Hani said. And so one of them spoke up to Hani, "What do you speak of this before the council?" And Hani breathed slightly because he knew what he said was very, he was out there. It's gonna risk some things. He basically calling either one of them or all of them or somebody deep in the government or whatever of Orion, that this is more than just Natu seemed to be a part of it. This is more than S Echo, which was a high rank and respected evidently, to be dismissed and gone. It went deeper, and someone else is planning something else amongst us. We got to find out who. So Hani said, "We can't find the two when King Mahlon of Mitsrayim from the land of Samar from Echo." And so he was about to talk, and then he paused and he was nervous. So it means the statement that he said, it will go spread wide and it will open up, a lot of worms coming out of things that could be devastating and reveal and treason. Okay, so that's what we found out in that episode. I'd highly recommend to go and check that out, to get some more feel for that. So it was a great episode. Okay, so all right, so that wraps up my directed clip notes. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a good one. Thank you.